Hello, this is the sea wall, and I just did that a few minutes ago. And actually, you're not going to see all that much of this. I think a lot of that is going to be covered up by the pier. I think the pier kind of comes up to here, but I think it'll look good at any rate. So hello and welcome. I am here. That was my finger, sorry. I am here at the bench, and I figured it was time to give you like another backstage. Because there's some really there's some funky stuff going on here. So what happened is I had some, I had painted this, and then I needed to paint the whole thing this gray color. And then I repainted it, and I basically did all these, like the side stuff, you know, the dull and the earth tones and, you know, all that kind of muck and stuff like that. But what had happened was the center, you know, the little kind of where the water is actually going to go, wasn't light enough. So what it ended up doing is I took a little bit of Mod Podge and water, and then at first, like the first two times, I just took like 2 drops of white acrylic paint, mixed it in with the Mod Podge, and then painted that in the center. Did pretty good. But I wanted more, and I knew, you know, multiple coats would do it, but I wasn't happy with it. So then I added a little bit of this like lime green and came up with this, a little bit more water, and I've done 2 coats of that so far, and I really like it. I think it's going to come out great. It's relatively bright now. As it dries, it lightens up quite a bit. So once this is dry, I'll have something else to share as well. But I'm pretty happy with it. So the other thing I did to this is I just, you know, people are asking about water, and I wasn't really going to have water, though I wanted to have the indications of water and all that kind of stuff. I think I got to have water. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, it just makes sense. So this is the Art and Glow, and I've used this before, and though that is yellow, I think that's the catalyst. This is good stuff, and I don't need that much. It will go in here, and I would frankly, you know, probably put a bit of tint in it, because I can just use acrylic paint to, you know, give it a little bit of color. But the other thing I did was I pressed down. I literally took my thumb and like my knuckle, you know, like this, and pressed down where I want the water to flow. Because this stuff, I mean, okay, hold on. This whole area is kind of dished. So the center was pretty much the low part, but in some parts it was kind of dished on the side, and then the bottom was kind of very gradual and then comes back up. So what I did was, by pressing down, you know, the foam gives way pretty well, of course. By pressing down all the way along that track, you know, where I've got the lighter paint there, that I think is going to hold this a little bit better. And it's just going to be a trickle, literally. I mean, I'm going to probably, I don't know. I'll probably do one of these cups. There's like 2 ounces. 1, 2 ounces, 3 ounces. That's 2 ounces. Yeah, 2 ounces. I probably won't even do 2 ounces. I think what I'll probably do is, you know, do all my damming and stuff like that on the ends, and then mix about an ounce or maybe 1.5 ounces, which would be up to like there's 1.5 ounces. And then put that in there and see how it goes. I never like tested it for flow. You know, when I was painting it last night, one of the things I did with John on the group build is I elevated with this one side here, and I had like a plate underneath there. And I did allow the paint to actually flow down here. So, and you know, multiple shots of that to build up, you know, these colors on the side. And I think they came out great. I really want to show this close-up, and I'm going to try and get in here. This, I think, is just awesome. I used a little bit of the, where is it? That stuff DAP dry decks. And I put that in here to kind of just seal the cracks. But what it did was it gave me all this extra stuff that looks like over time it's built up. And, you know, here, I haven't even painted this, but I did the same kind of stuff here. But I just love it. I think it's great. Here, too, I think you've got some really interesting stuff. There's a hole there. I didn't plan that. And it goes in there for a little bit. It's really cool. But see how this is kind of up on the sides? And that's just from repeatedly putting different paints and stuff like that. And I just love it. I think it's going to look really good. I think it actually looks like just, you know, crud just got there. I mean, I got to take that off, that big brown thing. But it's, you know, over time, stuff has really started to, you know, build up, and then it gets washed away, and, you know, more comes. These, see that, where I've got that big splotch? I got to get rid of that. That doesn't work. Everything else has been blended in. And so I'm really, really enjoying it. So once all this is dry, because this is pretty wet here, and I need it to dry and see what it looks like, because again, it goes much lighter after drying. Then I'll decide if I'm going to do some more. Here, I've got plenty here to do. And then I will do another coat of just the Mod Podge. It's matte Mod Podge, and it's with water, and I'll coat the entire inside of this thing. And then I'll pour this. I don't know if I'll do it before or after, and I think I might do it after, while the stuff is in there, or while the epoxy is in there. That's when I'll take this, which is the felt that I got from Mrs. Modelcraft. Then I can take some of this felt, and it's really tiny bits. I've done this before a little bit to test, and just a very small amount, and you just attach it here, and I just do it with, like, you know, my little toothpick or something like that. I attach it there and hold it, and then kind of pull it while it's in the resin, and it just kind of streams out. And if you've ever been around like a slow moving, you know, pond or slow moving creek or something like that with frogs and all that kind of stuff, that's what happens. You know, right along the edges you have this kind of tendrils of this green and yellowish, and I'm going to even use some red because you know what the heck is going down here. And so all these algae with these tendrils are kind of coming out in the flow of the water, and it makes it, you know, pretty interesting looking. So that's some of the stuff that I'm going to have in here. Probably mostly green, but there might be some yellowish highlights, and certainly different colors of green. The other thing is, let me look over here. Mrs. MC, she's always so awesome. She found this. This is some moss from Master Tom's house. Tom is my best friend, and we recently went over to his house for his 60th birthday. And Mrs. MC found this out in the yard, and it's just this beautiful. I mean, I don't even know what kind of moss this is, but it's beautiful stuff. I've got the exact same moss, but it's not this bright. It's not the same color. It's more whitish. It doesn't have this vibrance. And so I'm leaving it here for a while. I want it to stay inside because mosses are like sponge. And what'll happen is if I were to take this and put some moisture in it, it would literally just bloom. You know, it just opens back up. Sometimes that'll happen if you use a wash on it too. I've done that with very, very small mosses. So what I want to do is just kind of let it stay in here, make sure most of the water is out of it. And then I can take small pieces of it and see how it reacts with the paints or with the varnish or whatever I'm going to put on it, because it'll sometimes do that and swell up. As that dries, then it'll start to contract a little bit, and then you don't know what it's going to look like. Is it going to look like this, or is it going to, you know? Anyway, so that all has to happen. The other thing I can do, and see, here I go, is John and I have experimented with this. You can take and put this in glycerin. So a warm bath of glycerin, and what it'll do is it'll soak up that glycerin, but the glycerin will then stay in the moss. and will allow it to not be, it won't dry out. It'll stay pliable and flexible, and it'll keep its color. So it's like one of those tricks from like flower preservationists and stuff like that. I saw L. Towan do it. Used to be Luke Towan. It's L. Towan now. And L. Towan has a video a long time ago when it was Luke Towan, and really nice way of preserving stuff. I've done it on roots. Because roots, that's the other thing. I've used roots in a few of my dioramas, to have like a root coming down here, and they get so brittle, you just literally go like that, and then the whole thing just crumbles apart. I did the thing from El Towan and used the glycerin. It's just a little bit of warm, and you put it in there and leave it soak overnight, or I think El did it for longer in the video, but it soaks up that glycerin, and that glycerin gets permeated throughout the entire cell structure or whatever the heck happens, and it keeps it pliable. It's around here somewhere. I've got this little root. I just kept it. I don't know where it is now, but it's awesome. So anyway, that's one of the things that I could do too. But for now, I think I'm just going to do a little bit of work with it, figure out how it reacts. That's huge. And that'll give me time for this to dry and see what the next step is. So that is about it. Oh, and I should probably talk more about this. These stamps are really fun. They are just brass tubing that I formed into a rough rectangle. And I let the size of the brass tubing that I used tell me the size and relatively the shape that it was going to be. I didn't want it to be regular. I wanted it to be something where if I, stamp this way one time, then I can turn it over and stamp like that right next to it, and it looks like a different stone. So I did that to 3 different sizes. I may do more. This one's very irregular. And then what I did, and this is a little bit more difficult, is I sharpened them. And I think I have to continue to do that. And if you look, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see maybe better. When I do that, I need to see, it looks terrible. That's okay. It still cuts. But I need to square this up and then resharpen it. And I simply do that by using these files on the inside. They can get inside there, and, I got a nice flat edge with a nice corner, and that can get in these little tiny corners on the inside, because you kind of have to not sharpen it from the inside, but you have to make sure that the inside is completely straight. And if you don't, if there's like a little curl on it, from the metal, there's a little curl on the lip of, I'll use the biggest one to show you, on that lip, then it won't cut. It'll just press in, and it won't make a nice, cut in the plastic. So what I want to do is make sure that I treat the inside with the file. So that's what I do. And then I'll take it over to my grinder and just really, really quickly touch the outside of each of these. And you can see there's a little bit of a bevel on the outside of it. That's the shiny part. And that sharpens it, so it looks like a little tiny beveled edge. And that works great. That I can press into the foam and get these cuts. And I just kind of mix them in a very, very random pattern, and I really like it. When it's done, I use the pink spackle, the Drydex, just like I've used on like this. This is Drydex as well. You put it on, it's pink. As it dries, it turns white. But the other cool thing, and I didn't do it here, I kind of just wiped it away. You see it's relatively smooth. Here, when I was done, the last step is I took my paper towel and I kind of dabbed it, and look at that. It left some texture there. Now, if I'm really, if I, once it's dry, if I just wipe my hand across it, I think I would probably wipe out that texture. But if I'm really careful and put, I don't know. I guess Mod Podge would do it. I just want to put some kind of a sealer over it, because that's really powdery when it's dry. Here's an example of some stuff I did earlier. I sealed that crack, and this stuff is dry, and I think it's pretty powdery if I don't put anything on it yet. So what I need to do here is, once this is dry, to not lose that texture that dabbing with the paper towel gave me, I'll put some Mod Podge over it, then let that dry. Then I think I can paint it. Because I think even going over it with a brush with acrylic paint would probably just melt all that cool texture that dabbing it gave me. So anyway, I thought that was just kind of cool. I was really happy with that. Now, the fun thing is I got to do the other side. I haven't touched that yet. So look at here. I have to kind of go on this and do the same thing. And it should be easy to match the pattern because I tried to use the middle one, this one, all along, almost like capstone. They didn't have to always be the same height, but that'll allow me then to just kind of go up on top and do the same thing, you know, make the cuts for the top of each of those stones. And then I can just go over the other side, and I'm not going to try to match like this big stone all the way through. I'm just going to do whatever. And that is exactly what I'm going to do back there. So that's the foundation of the building. I'm going to use the exact same stamps to do that. But I want to get this thing done first. I want to see how that texture comes out. I kind of like it, but it may not look good when it's all said and done. So I'm going to, before I dive into this, which is going to be very visible from the sidewalk all the way up to the building, before I dive into that, I just kind of want to see how this effect just kind of fleshes out. So anyway, there you go. That's the update for this week. I hope you like it. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying this. And yeah, I'll show you more when I got it. So have a great day. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And as soon as I got some more pictures, I will show you. We'll see ya.